right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Brother Nashon, New Wine Congregation of Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is who the world knows as Jesus the Christ. All right, this is going to be a quick lesson, Lord willing. It's going to be another edition of fast food. So what I'll start doing is the shorter classes that we have that are like under 20 minutes long. We'll drop them in a playlist for you so that you can find it easier. And that playlist will be called Fast Food, something that you can watch on your lunch break while you just waiting at the grocery store. When you just got a quick little minute, anything 20 minutes and under, we'll drop it in that playlist called Fast Food. All right, so let's get into it. This lesson is going to be called Don't Switch Up. All right. Don't switch up. Don't switch up on the Lord in these last days. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. All right. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse number 8. It says, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. All right. So it says Yahweh Shai is the same as he was yesterday, today, and he'll be the way that he is forever. All right. Then it says what? Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines. Right? It says, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, right? Not with meats, which have not profited them, which have been occupied therein, going into the temple sacrifices. But the point here is that we ought to have our hearts established. You can't wake up one morning wanting to be an Israelite, and then the next morning you're like, well, I kind of want to be a Baptist again, or I wonder if we can celebrate Easter. Or you can't be switching up. You have to have your heart, meaning your mind, established on what it is that you're going to be doing. All right, let's go to the book of First Timothy. All right, First Timothy chapter 4. Don't switch up on the Lord, right? First Timothy chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, now the Spirit, meaning the Bible, speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. All right, so don't let that be you. Don't get seduced by these spirits and doctrines of devils. All right, the best way to make sure that you don't get seduced is stay in here, stay in this Bible. All right, don't be all over the place just watching any and everything. All right, one minute you're doing this, the next minute you're doing this. You don't want to be that type of person. Those are usually, from what I've seen in my small time in the truth, those are the people who are gonna leave the truth. All right, I've seen a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters lead is truth, and it's because their hearts aren't established. All right, but the Bible already told us that some are going to depart from the faith because they're going to start listening to the seducing spirits, and sometimes them spirits be on people. All right, let's go to Proverbs. Sometimes them spirits be on people. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24, and we're going to start at verse number 19. All right, this is, fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. You can't be envious at the wicked if you ain't watching the wicked. All right, looking at what's going on social media all the time. Oh, they doing this. We should be doing this. Don't fret yourself over that. Let them have that. You have your heart and mind established on keeping the God's laws. All right, it says, verse 20, for there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out, chiefly going into Esau, but a lot of us Negroes, all right, who still envy the white man, still want his lifestyle, still want that American dream. You're going to have your candle put out if you keep living that way, right? It says, my son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. So Don't be dealing with people who want to always change. They always changing their moon. They always changing their doctrine. They always changing what they. You don't want to deal with them type of people. The Bible say meddle not with them who are given to change. Now you come into some understanding about something and you give you yield to the Bible, cool. But some people just all over the place. They done kept all the moons as the new moons. That like don't be that type of brother or sister. The Bible say them type of people don't deal with them, right? Because they on their way out the door, probably more than likely. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. Meddle not with them who are given to change. They wake up feeling one way, then they feel another way by the end of the day. Don't deal with them type of people, the Bible say. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 27, and verse number 11. It says, the discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changes as the moon. A fool is somebody who ain't gonna be able to make up their mind. One minute they doing this, the next minute they doing that. You dang, I thought y'all didn't believe. Okay. You don't want to deal with a person like that. They always giving to change, right? The Bible say don't meddle with that type of person. Let's go to stay at Sirach. Let's go to Sirach chapter 5. Sirach chapter 5 and verse 10. It say, be steadfast in thy understanding and let thy word be the same. We got to be like Yahweh Shai. We got to be the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. We got to stay grounded on this Bible. All right. One minute we believe in Paul, the next minute, I don't think I gotta listen to Paul. I don't think I gotta listen to that part. Don't deal with them type of people. The Bible say, be steadfast in thy understanding and let your word be the same. All right. From there, let's go to the book of John, chapter 7. How we gonna be steadfast in our understanding? By first and foremost, not speaking your own words, doing thus saith the Lord. What the king said. It's the book of John, chapter 7 and verse 16. It says, Yahweh Shai answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. So that's a surefire way to make sure that we don't switch up on the Lord. Not having our own doctrine, but the doctrine of the Lord, right? What the Most High said. Let's go to the book of Romans. Matter of fact, I want to go to Romans first. Matter of fact, let me get this in Deuteronomy. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. Yahweh Shai said, my doctrine is not mine. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 2. It says, ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it. Aught meaning anything. Don't diminish anything from the Bible. It says, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord. It says, your God, which I command you. So you don't want to diminish anything from this Bible. That's a surefire way to make sure that you don't switch up, because these words ain't going to switch up. When we start bringing our own doctrine into things and start trying to get what we want and speaking from our ability, let's get it. Let's go to the book of Romans. Romans chapter 16. When we start speaking our own words and doing our own thing and trying to do what's convenient for us, that's when we start switching up. And that's when you can end up on your way out the door, right? Let's go to Romans chapter 16 and verse 17. It says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them, meaning pay attention to them ones that do what? Which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. The Bible is clear. It say avoid them type of people that cause divisions, that and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned. The doctrine is this Bible. If you got somebody that's doing anything outside of this, the Bible say you need to avoid them. If they got a problem with anything in this Bible, the Bible say avoid them. Stay away from them type of people. It says, why? For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. So you don't want to be deceived, right? The Bible say, don't be deceived, don't be deceived. A clear way to not be deceived is to avoid the people who got a problem with this Bible, all right? Because that's gonna cause you to switch up on the Lord. So all that you got camps doing unity camps, and they don't even teach the same thing. The Bible say that you're supposed to speak the same thing. All right. It's confusing to have this brother think it's the Sabbath, and then this brother up here, he reading for you and he don't think it's the Sabbath, and he go in the store and buy something when you think it's this. That's confusing. There's no unity about that. You know what that's for? That's for clicks and views. That's the swap. I was in the world as a rap artist. I know what is. You might not necessarily deal or rock with this artist, but they got a following. So you will do a song with them so you can do what? Swap audiences. He can get your listeners and you can get his listeners, and y'all can grow y'all fan base. That's all these unity camps is for. Because if y'all don't teach the same thing, you might say, well, we teach this. Well, why y'all ain't doing why you ain't doing unity camps with Christians? Because they believe in that you gotta repent. They might not look at it the same way you look at it, right? But they believe in the Bible. You got Christians who think Yahweh Shai was a black person. They call him Yeshua or whatever they call him, right? You don't do it with them. Why? Because you don't want to swap audiences with them. It's not beneficial to your following and your popularity and status in the Hebrew Israelite community, right? So if you're going to do unity, it should be exactly that. It should be unity. Everybody should speak the same thing. Now, do that mean you can't love your brothers and sisters even though they might have a doctrine that's slightly different from yours? Of course not. You can go hang out. You can go get something to eat. You can kick it, you know what I'm saying, and do other things. But the Bible say avoid those who speak from their own belly, who just putting some stuff together and mixing it all up and making a doctrine so that everybody can get followers, right? We don't want to do that. The Bible say avoid them type of people. All right. From there, let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 19. It says, for there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest. So Paul say, look, it's got to be some heresies. It's got to be some people who are going to read the Bible and say, well, I don't think I like that, or I don't think I believe that part. It's got to be that's got to happen. That's going to prove whether you is in the faith or not. That's going to prove whether you truly believe what you say you believe. That's going to prove whether you have your heart and mind established in the faith. All right. From there, let's go to the book of Galatians. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2 and verse 4. All right. It says, and that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty which we have in Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, that they might bring us into bondage, meaning back into the confines of the old covenant where you couldn't repent. All right. So Paul was dealing with this at this time. He said, look, we got false brethren coming in, and that's going to happen. You're going to have false brothers, false sisters coming to your congregation that don't really believe, right? That's spying out. That's like, oh, they look like they got something going on over there. Let me go and benefit off that and then see what I can get. And when I use it up, I'll just bounce and go back into the world. You got people doing that. You got people that just want a free meal, that just know you gonna cook every month and have food every month, and they want to come over and eat your food every month or every week or however often you cook. The Bible say, watch out for those type of people. It said, to whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour. So Paul said, I wouldn't even let these brothers speak because I knew they was fake. It says, and the truth of the gospel might that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be of somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. So Paul, like, yeah, them brothers came in and they seemed like they was somebody, but I don't give a damn who they is. I could tell they was fake. That's what he mean when he say it maketh no when he say it maketh no matter to me. Paul saying, I don't give a damn who they seem like they is. They fake. They not real, right? It's a God accepteth no man's person, meaning God don't have no respect to person. For they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me, right? He said, look, it didn't make no difference to me just because they seem to be in conference, meaning they seem to have charisma or whatever the case may be. If they don't go by thus saith the Lord, I don't want nothing to do with them, right? So Paul, the apostles, they've been dealing with these type of things, right? So let's go from there. Let's go to Acts. You don't want to deal with them type of people. When you see people that got any type of problem with this Bible, especially the ones that's supposed to be in the truth, them the worst ones, right? Those attributes and behaviors will rub off on you and cause you to have bad attributes and behavior, right? Let's go to Acts 16 and verse 4. It says, and as they went through the cities, they delivered them the decrees for to keep that were ordained of the apostles and elders which were at Jerusalem. So this is them setting up the churches. It says, and so were the churches established in the faith and increased in number daily. Your ministry will increase if you got everybody amongst you speaking the same thing, everybody on one accord, everybody moving the same. This little clique over here don't secretly believe something, and this little group over here don't secretly believe something. Whenever you got that going on, you're gonna have division, and God is not gonna be in it because that's confusing. He's not gonna let you go out here and confuse people who are sincere, right? He'll let you confuse the ones he won't confuse, because the deceived and the deceiver are his, right? But he's not gonna bless that if it's not in sync and everybody on one accord, right? Sometimes you gotta I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 2. I'll leave that alone, man. Let's go to Acts chapter 2, and we're gonna start at verse 41. It says, then they that gladly received his word were baptized, and the same day there were added to them about 3,000 souls. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine, meaning they didn't switch it up. They didn't want to go back to being no, steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread and in prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. It says, and all that believed were together and had all things in common. That's how your congregation gonna get blessed by the Lord. If you do believe something slightly different than New Wine Congregation of Israel, stick to that. Ride with that until the king come back. And if we wrong, and if you sincere, but you wrong, the Lord will have mercy on you, Lord willing, and give us the correct doctrine, right? But stick to what you got. The Bible say these people believed together and had all things in common. Everybody spoke the same thing. It says, and sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need. So they was there for each other, right? Was mine is yours, was yours is mine. It says, and they continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, right? So as a congregation, that's what makes a congregation. That's what makes a camp, not just a bunch of niggas with the same shirts on screaming with a microphone. That's not a camp. That's not a congregation. A camp and a congregation is a group of people that believe the same thing, that's got the same accord, right? That's how you want to be if you in this truth, man, if you want to endure, right? Let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, last precept. I'm trying to keep it under 20. right? Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. It says, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers, different parts of the ministry, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, and for the edifying of the whole body of Hamashiach, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach. Right? It says that we henceforth be no more as children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive. So we can't be children no more. Once you get in this truth, you got to let your heart be established. Decide what you believe and stick to that. All right. All praise to the Most High. Brother Nahshon, all honor and glory and praise to the Most High God, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, New Wine Congregation of Israel. Shalom, y'all.